back to another episode of Musical Epics with Shari. My name is Sharon Bodua Bodu. You can call me Shari if you love what I do. Listen, I am so glad that you decided to spend some quality time with me. To all my returning listeners and subscribers, thank you. Thank you guys so much. You loyal, and I appreciate you.
You're loyal. You're grateful. I appreciate that.
If this is your first time hearing my voice, hello and welcome. I just have one thing to ask of you. Kindly do well to listen to this episode to the very end. After listening, I promise you would want to join the family by hitting the subscribe button and even enjoy your friends to join too by sharing the podcast with them. So just give me a few minutes to have this candid conversation with you. Well, folks, like we always do on this podcast, we start a new month with new conversations about a new theme. And I was supposed to release this episode in August, but life was lifing, so that didn't happen. The good thing, however, is that because I already had the rough draft and the song prepared already for August, I can bring the same content to you a little earlier in September than I usually would have. Every single time I get behind this microphone, I feel like I have an assignment to come to you with some encouraging words and to sit with you as your digital bestie in whatever situation or feeling you are in and let you know that you are not alone. Sometimes in the heat of the moment and in the midst of the hustle and the bustle, it's easy to feel very overwhelmed. And for me, it always helps when I find that one person to share whatever situation it is with, or to help me take my mind off of whatever that's happening. And it just helps to know that you have somebody in your corner. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for 1.4 thousand total plays of all the episodes on this podcast. The fact that something I started in the middle of my brokenness, my confusion, and my loneliness in my room would have over 1,000 people listen completely blows my mind. I am grateful to God for being faithful, and I'm also grateful to you for listening. Let's continue to grow and glow. So, now that I have that out of the way, let's move on to the juicy part of today's episode. So, for today's episode, we're going to talk about the theme for the month of September, which I'm sure you've already seen by now from the episode title. But for the avoidance of doubt, the theme for the month is authenticity. I'm going to talk a little about authenticity, kind of lay the foundation for the main episode where we would use the song under discussion to flesh out the theme. And not just that, I'm going to have some of my very cool friends share their thoughts too, so you don't want to miss that episode. This word authenticity is actually one of my favorite words because I believe it carries some sort of weight. It is definitely a word that is mostly thrown around a lot generally, but especially between 2019 and 2020. Although it's one of my favorite words, I've had the most struggle with living out this word. If you can't tell already, this episode is obviously going to be about me telling on myself. Yikes. Let me give y'all a definition of the word authenticity so we know exactly what we're dealing with. So I looked for the meaning of authenticity and I found it meant the quality of being authentic. So I had to go and look for the meaning of the word authentic. Being authentic means of undisputed origin and not a copy, genuine, being actually and exactly what is claimed. So, in my attempt to better grasp the meaning of this word so I can better articulate it to you, because obviously authenticity is a broad concept, I watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and the first video I watched had 1.7 million views, and after watching it, I didn't understand 85% of what was said. Not because the video wasn't good, but maybe because it had a lot of technicalities that I just didn't get. I did continue to watch more videos, but what that brought to my mind was, instead of coming to sit here to repeat what other people have already said, like in the light of us talking about authenticity, I might as well talk about my own experience when it comes to authenticity. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to share a story about a period in my life where I didn't feel authentic, and then in the main episode we will listen to the singer's story too and figure out how we can live an authentic lifestyle. I don't know if I've already said this on this podcast before, but part of the reason why I started this podcast is I wanted to stop being fake. I already told you I'm going to be telling on myself, so here we go. There was a period in my life right around the time I went into the university where I had no idea who I was in terms of personality, my values, my standards, my boundaries. So I was just going with the flow, depending on the situation and the people I had around me. Now, I know I'm gonna need professional help to be able to really understand the intricacies of what was going on back then. But with the little wisdom God has granted me, I believe the reason I struggled so much with who I was because I never really took the time to get to know me. We're going to really get into all of that in the main episode, but up until the time I went into the university, everything I did, everything I believed, and practiced came from a place of I'm afraid of getting punished or I'm afraid of going to hell. So if you knew me back then and you thought I was a good girl, it wasn't because I actually understood the concept of being a good girl and so I wanted to be a good girl. No, it was mostly because I'd seen my older siblings get punished for doing certain things, and so because of that I don't want to get punished, so I don't do them. And then I go to church and I hear that if you do this and this and that, you go to hell. And so my entire belief system, values, standards, personality was built on a foundation of fear. And that fear blocked my opportunity to actually understand why I do the things I do and act a certain type of way. At the same time, there were moments where I would cross the line and do something I know I'm not supposed to do, and I never took the time to process those experiences with myself or with anyone for that matter. And so underneath all that good girl facade were layers upon layers of fear and guilt caused by the action of a second personality who was tired of caring about punishments or hell. Moreover, because of where I was raised, I didn't get out much, and so I wasn't exposed to a lot of stuff. I lived in my own small world under the protection of my parents, and so when I left that space to the university and I realized I could do what I want, I could go where I want without permission, that was when my second personality, who doesn't care about punishment and hell, came out. And even then, I still didn't take the time to actually get to know and understand me. And I just acted in ways that made me feel like I fit in, and I acted in ways that I thought people were going to accept me for. I remember during that time, I would receive feedback about my personality, and deep down, I would know this is not who I am. Like, people would say stuff, and I'm like, who are you talking about? Me? I am not like that. I didn't understand why people would make certain remarks about my personality, and it always bothered me. But the sad thing was, I didn't know how to fix it because I had no idea what was going on. And I know I wasn't being misunderstood because those feedbacks were coming from different people on a consistent basis. Hindsight, I know the reason why that was happening was because I was presenting a fake persona to people, and it was so glaring that it came off as off-putting. I lost great and deep friendship because I was trying to be somebody I wasn't. This is just a little bit of my story in trying to live an authentic life. And I know you might have your own story too. Our generation has so many things being thrown at us that aims to steal who we really are. The fact that social media is everywhere and it can be easily accessed. It can be easily accessed by these little machines in our pockets called smartphones have made it very, very easy for our authenticity to be tainted. Also, the practice of sharing our lives on social media by like TikToks, highlight reels, and Instagram stories have also contributed to this reality because it has made it so easy to downplay our life and our personality and try to take on someone else's, probably because we think they have it better than we do. There are so many things that are happening that makes you want to be someone else or be anything other than who you really are. And so it's a fight out here. I'm not gonna lie, it's a fight, which means that living an authentic life isn't something that comes easily or comes naturally. It's a conscious and intentional choice that we all have to make at a certain point in our lives to stay true to ourselves and to be genuine in all our dealings. And I am actually very interested to know how I can do that consistently, and I know you are too. That is why you need to join me on the main episode coming out later this same month as we learn and really flesh out this subject through the lyrics of an incredible song by an incredible singer. As I said early on, I would have some of my friends share their thoughts too so you get different perspective. And if there is still time, I will share with you how I navigated my period of inauthenticity and how I'm being real in life right now. Now, before I let you go, I just think it would be a really good idea to put you on some cool new gospel music that you can vibe to while you wait for me to bring you the main episode. So let's have a big new segment right now. We are started off strong with a new one from Travis Green and Forward City called Tent Revival. I think this is an album, and I also think this is so dope because, in case you don't know, Forward City is actually Travis Green's church. And if you've been following their journey like I have, you know it's a fairly new church and they've been doing amazing things for the people of God. So the fact that they put out an album is pretty cool. And yet I'm not surprised because, hey, it's Travis Green. Like, what you expecting? Moving on, we have Left It in the Water and God is on the Throne by We the Kingdom. Take It to Jesus by Anna Golden and Carrie Job. Your World, a single by my all-time crush, Jonathan McReynolds. No Heads by Casting Crowns. Spread the Ups by Lecrae. Narrow Road by Josh Baldwin. Bloom, an EP by Mitch Wong. Oh Lord, You Are Beautiful by Chris Tomley and Stephanie Gretzinger. Like, yo, do you see the collaboration here? Chris Tomley and Stephanie Gretzinger. That song is going to be so dope. Good by Cody Carnes. Lion, Live from the Loft by Elevation Worship. Never Would Have Made It by Marvin Sapp. I Speak Jesus by New Boys. The Church I Grew Up In, a single by Tasha Cobbs Leonard, which is part of her new album called Hymns, which is coming out pretty soon, I think in October or so. Well, there you have it. All these amazing songs to add to your playlist till I come to you next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You have no idea how I appreciate you supporting this podcast. If you have listened up to this point and I've said something that resonated with you, I'm asking you to please share it with everybody that you know. I'm going to take it a little further and ask you to subscribe to the podcast because I think we go together or something, you know. Also, do your girl a favor and leave a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It really, really helps to push the podcast for other people to see it. You can also follow me on all my socials, send me a DM or shoot me an email so we can have more conversations about topics like this. I will catch you again soon on the main episode. Till then, be safe, be happy, be you. Bye.